Dash Talk presents Lunch with the Finance Bunch. Lunch with the Finance Bunch. Bringing money talk you can understand. And now, here's your host, Miss Charlene.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Dash Talk Radio. My name is Miss Charlene, and this is Lunch with the Finance Bunch. Today in our studio, we have the incomparable, the beautiful, the 5-foot-tall financial guru. That's what I call her. And her name is Leah Rosenfeld.
Woo woo! Let's give a round of applause for her.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Miss Lady. How are you?
I am amazing. Feeling very excited to be here with you today. Honored that you asked me to come and join you on your show.
Wonderful. Now, we're just getting to know you a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So we want you to take about 10 seconds and tell us a little bit about yourself, Wealth Wave, and what Wealth Wave does for their clients.
Well, I'm glad you asked, because what me and my associates do, what we do, is we help families financially through educating them, right? Okay. Most people just don't understand how money works.
Right.
So we start with the basics, all the stuff they should have taught us in school, but yet they don't, not even in college. And so we start with, do you even know what's happening with your money? Why is it sitting in the bank? Where and how does it grow? And so we start with the basics. We start with really the fundamentals, and then we get more, obviously, into detail about what to do with you specifically and how to get to your dreams and goals, how to help families financially get ahead and be prepared for the 21st century.
Typically, when you ask that question to people, are they scratching their head when they first meet you?
They're actually doing more than scratching their head.
Are they a little nervous?
They're nervous, mostly embarrassed.
Okay.
There's some shame around money. I'm
Yes,
sure you
there
could
is.
imagine it's a topic that most people don't want to talk about. They'd rather talk about their sex life, actually,
Yes.
than their money.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So, like how do you calm a person down and help them feel more comfortable talking to you?
Well, I think for me that comes across easy because I've been in their shoes. And so I can relate and I can say, listen, I totally know how you feel. I felt the same way. And here's what I found. And I tell them my story and I tell them where I'm coming from and that everybody started somewhere.
Yes.
But it's about taking the tools that we teach, implementing them, and building that muscle. And we'll talk more about that, I'm sure, when it comes to saving,
Right.
to show them there is hope.
Definitely.
Exactly. So now where do we start? Like, do you start with telling them, the things that have happened to you and why you're so passionate about the work that you do? Because I think there's this false premise that everyone who's in financial planning started with a silver spoon in their mouth. They had a lot of money that they were dealing with and they knew all about money. Is that your start, or tell us your story?
That's actually a great question. And that leads me to tell you that I absolutely share my story almost every time, unless I'm in a setting where that's not appropriate, of course.
Yes.
But for the most part, when I do seminars and when I'm asked to speak, I start with my story because there's someone in the audience that's going to connect. There's someone in the audience that's going to be awakened and say, I can see myself in Leah.
Yes.
And I want to know how to get there.
Yes.
Because I started out with a mentor. I started out with learning from someone who also didn't come from this industry. This is not my background, right?
Okay.
And so I always share stories, sometimes with detail, and I try not to be depressing about it.
Right.
But you want to move someone.
That's right.
And this is something I learned. Facts tell and stories sell.
That's right, because people want to be able to relate. The financial industry is very intimidating. I was speaking to someone yesterday, and she said, I clicked on your show because I saw you. And she said, I just thought the information was going to be above my head. She said, that's why I haven't listened, because I didn't think I'd be able to relate to what you were talking about. And I said, no, that's why I do this show, so you can relate, so you can see yourself out of whatever financial predicament you're in. And if you're not in a financial predicament, then take it to the next level, because women and men need to be educated about money so that
Absolutely.
we can make better choices, right?
I agree.
Yes. Now, here's another misnomer. I tell you, one of the things that attracted me to you when I went to was it Women, Wine, and Wealth?
Yes.
Yes, that was last Sunday.
Yes.
That sounds like it's a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Beautiful place as well. We had a beautiful place in Culver City. No,
Yeah,
Century
in
City.
Century City. Beautiful. Yeah, they had the layout, and it was focused on women.
Was it bottomless wine?
Bottomless wine.
Sounds like a good time.
Mimosas. Yeah, we had a good time. But you know what came out in that? There was probably 100 women there, and everyone as an individual, but collectively, we're all interested in figuring this money thing out, right?
Yes.
And so what attracted me to you were 3 things. I don't know how many things, but we'll get through that.
You can say 10.
15. Okay, that's even better, right? So what really attracted me to you was the fact that you were such a tiny dynamo. Like, you were so expressive and so passionate about what you do. And then your story really struck me because normally, we think, and you told us about your background, that you're of Jewish descent, right?
Yes.
And usually you think that when a person is of Jewish descent, the stereotype is that they know all about money, they are money gurus, they know everything about finance, and that their life is set because financially they are completely solvent.
Balling.
That's the stereotype, like you're balling, out of control, that you know everything about money. Wow. And, that's not everybody's story, right?
Absolutely not, and definitely not my story. And so I'm so glad that I could be that first person to show you reality check.
Yes.
Because we all have stereotypes in our mind.
That's right.
Of every type of person out there. And yes, there are very wealthy Jewish people.
Right.
My family wasn't one of them. And that's okay, because
okay.
it brought me to where I am today.
Yes.
And I was, thinking, how do I share my story, tell people where I come from without making them feel bad for me?
Right.
Because I don't feel bad for me.
Right.
I'm very grateful from where I come from. And yes, I didn't grow up with money. We definitely had some challenges. And I didn't really learn the value of a dollar. That didn't help me. What helped me was after I got divorced, after I had to raise 4 kids. That's what really taught me some good lessons.
Right.
But I always knew that I wasn't comfortable around money. Okay. I always knew that there was some shame or there was some fear. And it was something that I didn't like talking about because I didn't have any.
When did you notice that it was a problem?
I noticed it was a problem when I had to provide for my children on my own.
Got you.
And I was getting help from nobody. And I had to figure out, what am I doing wrong? And I'll tell you, I was in my late 30s when that happened.
Yes, and that's another thing. Like, people think when everybody focuses on the millennials, right? Like, they don't know what they're doing, and they this and they that. When really, it's people of all ages who find themselves in a situation where they need to be more financially educated, because Social Security, fellows, ladies, gentlemen, is not going to take care of you when you get to that age. It's just not.
I feel like it's going to be gone by the time
it will be gone.
Hit me.
You're right.
Oh, definitely.
Matthew, you're right.
You're absolutely right. So with that,
So Charlene, are you going to hook me up with a couple of coins before that happens?
Oh, I will.
Oh, that's what I'm
Coins,
talking about.
I love
coins.
I
But you
need
better
all the
have your
love I
own
can get.
coins too.
I just need some of your coins.
No,
She'll
I'm
match
planning
the coins you
I'll
have. How's
match
that?
them. Yes,
Say that.
match the coins you have.
Okay, I'm going to hold you to it. We got that on camera too, y'all.
It's a good incentive. It
It's
works.
see, my financial advisor says that's a great incentive. It works.
Invest in me, Char.
Invest in you.
It works for all the employers.
That's right.
Right? They're matching people if they put in their 401k.
That's
and
right.
it gets them to save for their retirement.
That's exactly right. So I'm investing in you, Matthew.
Hook me up with my rainy day fund.
That's right. Well, it's a part of mine and yours. It's a match.
Okay.
So
There's
you don't get to
yours,
buy shoes.
There's yours, there's mine, and then there's ours.
Okay.
Which is yours.
Oh.
Let's get that clear.
That didn't work out too well. We need to sit down with a financial advisor and talk about this. Namely, Leah, right?
Be my honor.
Exactly. So now, as a director of Wealth Wave, what marketing tools do you give people to be effective in starting their business? Because that's a part of your business too, right? So you not only do financial advising, you also do advising for businesses. Is that correct?
I help individuals, help the world get to know who they are. And so I'll tell you what worked for me, and which is what I love to talk about.
Okay.
Number one, it really is about being a referral and getting referrals. people that know you and love you, you've got to not be shy. You can't be a secret agent. You've got to talk about what it is you do and get the word out there. You know, I always use the example of if you see a good movie, you're definitely going to tell your friend.
That's right.
You got to see this movie. If you eat in a good restaurant, you had a great meal, you're going to talk about that place.
Exactly.
So you really want to talk about your good experiences you have. And you want to tell your clients. And listen, what you tell your friends about me matters.
Right.
And if you have a good experience with me, who can you put down on this piece of paper that I can reach out to and you're going to say a good word for me and I can actually call them and suddenly it's not a cold call.
Right.
And so I love the referral system. I love the warm market system. I do love social media. I'm starting to learn how to do that more and get out there and not be afraid to do clips. And then the other thing is having a website that's got tools that speak for you 24/7. You know, when I'm sleeping and I know that people can click on my site and look up some 9-minute clips on how money works or a 30-minute clip if they have the time about wealth management. And so you leverage that to do the work so that you can be at the beach, you can go on a hike, you can sit with a client, and that to me is incredible too.
So now that you're getting into social media, what's your favorite social media platform?
My children have taught me about Instagram.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
That's mine.
Okay.
I always do it for the gram, baby.
Yeah. In fact, right before I walked in here, I did a little story. I'm, honored to be here in Dash Studios and going to be interviewed on the air. So I'll tell you, I also like that it gets connected instantly to Facebook.
Yes.
Because I'm on both. I mean, I've got my Twitter account, which I also can connect to, but I find that the Instagram is much quicker. People love they're always on it. So they're always looking at it and they see you.
Right.
Right. Ooh, so when we come back, we're going to talk about this more. We're going to talk about the social media aspect of it. We're going to talk about, how you started your company. We're going to talk about all of that when we come back. How's that?
Love it.
Yay. So we will be back in just a moment. You're listening to Dash Radio, and we're going to come back with Leah in just a moment. Welcome back to Dash Talk Radio. I'm Miss Charlene, and you're listening to Lunch with the Finance Bunch. And we have Leah Rosenfeld in our studio today, and we're talking about money. We're talking about wealth. We're talking about getting comfortable with putting yourself in a wonderful financial position.
Yes.
Yes. So, Leah, what is your position at your company? What exactly do you do?
I'm so glad you asked because I worked really hard to get to where I'm at. I am a senior marketing director with WealthWave. And what we do is, like I said, we're trying to bring Wall Street to Main Street.
Okay.
Because most people are overlooked by the financial industry because middle income families are not really having that net worth that they could invest. And so we're overlooked. And so there is no plan. There's no advisor. They're living paycheck to paycheck, right? And so we are very proud that we help families, and we have a mission statement, no family left behind. And so what does that mean? We help families learn how to save $10 a month.
Hallelujah.
Yes.
$100 a month. Where am I putting that money? And so we are helping families get out of debt, whether it's tax debt, student loan debt, credit card debt, through education and through our services, which are complementary. And we have a financial needs analysis, which we do, which is also complementary, which is like a roadmap to your dreams and goals, because every family has a different dream, yeah?
That's right. Everybody has a different dream.
Definitely. And I'm glad that you brought up student loans too, because that's something that as millennials, we all go through is student loan debt, which is something that we talked about recently. And I say, anytime that they call me, I just pretend like I'm dead on the phone and say, just forgive all my loans. Matthew is no longer here. You can forgive that. We can keep it moving.
Yeah, that's a big deal with the millennials is their debt because of student loans. And that's like a point of irritation with them because it really stops them from doing a lot of the things that they would like to do, like purchasing a home and all those things. And so it's wonderful to know there's a place they can go.
Absolutely.
And someone can help them figure it out.
Exactly.
Yes.
How can they make those payments? Not play dead on the phone, how they can make those
Get
payments.
off my back, Sally Mae. Navion, get off my back, please.
Absolutely. And Matthew, don't you think that if someone were to help you and take those payments that you're making and really shrink them, that you can start to save more?
Exactly, 100%. Because that's one of the things my mom, Shar, has been teaching me to do is like save, because I like to spend, like all of us.
Yes.
I hear you.
Yes. Now, you were telling me that this is Life Insurance Month?
Absolutely.
And so my next question is really important. Why should a millennial see the value in life insurance? Why should they see the value in that? Because they feel like, I'm young, I'm not going anywhere. Why do I need life insurance? Could you please
Leah,
help
talk
us
to
with
me.
that?
We
Talk
could
to me,
spend
please.
Talk
I'm
to
right here.
Matthew, because
Talk to
he's
me.
not listening to me, Leah.
Matthew, listen up. Okay, here's the deal. I could literally spend hours just talking about this topic. You think I'm passionate? Like you thought you saw passion the other day? This is one of my most passionate. This and long-term care insurance is something I'm so passionate about because I've seen stories, I've seen catastrophes, I've seen families literally struggle and stress and have to uproot their children and go into foreclosures and bankruptcies because of lack of life insurance. Ooh. Why would a millennial need life insurance? Well, here's the thing. To get life insurance, we have to look at what is the process. We have to educate families. What is life insurance? How do I get life insurance? How much do I need? And so this month is Life Insurance Awareness Month. Liam, we call it Liam, around the country right now. We are promoting life insurance. We're teaching about life insurance and we're helping families get into the proper policy that would be the right fit for them. So let's take you for example.
Okay.
I would want to find out, first of all, would you even qualify? What does that mean? Are you healthy? What's your lifestyle like? Are you a smoker? Mm-hmm. All these things are taken into consideration.
I feel like I'm healthy. I look good. I'm cute, right, Mom?
You look awesome.
You're okay.
Perfect.
I agree. But here's the deal. You might not see the need for it today if you don't have any dependents, if you don't have a home, but there is going to come a day, maybe, that you want to be a dad or that you're going to have a wife and you're going to have a home. And what if, right? Well, do we want to wait that long to find out if you're insurable?
Right.
Our health is not necessarily getting better, is it?
No, not at all.
Right. So we want to lock it in.
That's right.
Right. And there are different types of life insurances. You can rent it, you can own it, you can build equity, you can have tax-free income. It really depends on what's the best need for you. And so we help families really find out through sitting with them, asking the right questions. What are your goals? What do we need to protect? And let me tell you something, your debt gets passed down. The average family in the United States passes on to their loved ones $62,000 worth of debt when they pass away.
Wow, you got $62,000 worth of debt you're about to pass down?
No, because I have insurance.
Okay.
Exactly.
That's right. But you know what? That's a great point to bring up because, sometimes I pick on millennials a little bit, but we think about today. We think about being immortal. We don't think that anything will ever happen.
Oh, yeah, I'm living until I'm 100.
Of course. But when you're 100, it's going to be hard to insure you. So you have to get that insurance now while you're healthy because, right, if you've already got insurance and God forbid something were to happen, you already have the insurance.
Yes.
So that's the point. So if you get insurance as a healthy person, it's less expensive, right?
Absolutely. It's like going in to get car insurance when you've been in 30 accidents. What's that going to cost you?
An arm and a leg.
Or you may not get.
Right.
Right.
Same difference. Yeah. Now, I heard you say something that is not funny, but you said you can rent insurance or you can own it. And so I think a lot of people rent insurance, kind of like you rent an apartment, and that has no good, it's a temporary fix for a permanent situation. You temporarily need a place to live, but you want to permanently own where you live.
Wait, so how does that even work? Is it like if you feel like you're going to die, you're like, oh, let me get insurance? And
No.
You're like, okay, I'm
Such
good.
a good question. No. Such a good question. Well, I'm going to help you understand that more. The reason people rent life insurance is because it is a lot more affordable. And it's definitely better than not having a plan in place. Okay. So let's just say that most people are renting life insurance.
Okay.
And that's okay.
Okay.
Right? And some insurances are convertible to a permanent type of policy. Some renting of life insurance will also allow you to have some living benefits to it. So if you get sick, if you have a critical illness, a chronic illness, or a terminal illness, God forbid, you will be able to use that money while you're alive. Could you imagine that ability? And that's kind of new.
Amen.
You're very cute. I compare life insurance to cell phones. And I'll tell you why. Evolving through time is our digital industry. And so we look at a flip phone. Right. And that now we have smartphones.
Right.
Very few people have flip phones. I do have close friends who do have flip phone. I'm not knocking you. I'm saying there are people that are in the up and up and they want what's the best out there. Show me the best, right? How many people are in line right now for the iPhone X?
That's right.
Seriously, insane.
Big time. I'm trying to save my $1,000
And that's something we should talk
now.
about because these people are the same people that say, I don't have time to meet with you, Leah, to talk about my money, or I don't have money for life insurance. Yet you're going to spend $1,000 on a phone?
Yes.
And this is really happening right now in America today. It's a problem.
That's because this is my life right here, Leah.
Matthew, did you hear that? Did you hear that?
Instagram. I got to do it for the gram one time, so I got to update my phone.
Well, why I bring it up, why I compare it is because life insurance also evolves. There's bells and whistles now too. So it's not just a death insurance. There's also living benefits to it. If you're in the right policy, if you're meeting with someone and constantly looking over your policy, and I do a free look over, especially now this month, I'm meeting with clients. They're showing me their policies. They're saying, Leah, show me, am I in the right thing? And I say, this is actually about to expire in 2 years. You're not the same health then when you took it out 20 years ago. Let's talk about that. Right? And let's talk about, do you have any cash value in your policies right now, and what does that look like? And so I love that I get to hold people's hand through the process, through the underwriting process, through the medical testing, and really be their voice during a time when it could be a little scary for people.
Exactly. So what it sounds like to me is you kind of hold your clients' hands through every part of the financial process. And there's so many facets of it. And I think that's why people become overwhelmed.
Yes.
So that's why they have to have someone who is guiding them that has been there and has had to do that, right?
Yes.
Because if you haven't been there, you kind of can't relate. But if you've been in a position where you needed to get life insurance to protect your family, when you needed to put yourself in a better financial position to help your family, all of those things are passions for you because you've been there.
Yes.
Right? And so you can talk to a person from that lay person or that person who isn't familiar with these things. You can talk about it from that perspective and give them the incentive and the steps to get to where they need to go without taking on the headache and the pressure of feeling like they need to know everything.
Correct.
Did I just go on a rant?
No, I love it. By the way, that's what I do all the time. No, you did not, by the way. What I like to do is let them guide me. And I tell them, listen, I'm here to help you, and I'm going to take your cue. You need to guide me down the road that you want to go down, and I'm here to kind of steer you in the direction that you're going to take me to make sure we're on track.
Okay.
I don't know, Leah. It could get a little bumpy.
I'm up for the ride.
Exactly. And then would you talk to them about the $1,000 phone versus some other things that could happen with that money that could be a lot more profitable, Matthew?
Yes. Here's
Shout out to all the millennials. One question that I wanted to know.
Did you say shout out to all the millennials?
All the millennials out
so
there.
Are you representing?
I'm here for you.
Are you? That's
I'm here for you.
Is that your purpose today, to represent?
Yeah, I got to hold it down for us. But one of the questions that I wanted to ask about the life insurance. So in order to qualify for it, I know that one of the things that you brought up was health. So when you're going to get qualified for it, do you have to go through a physical or go to the doctor to make sure everything is okay in order for them to approve you?
Such a good question. So they're hoping that you are doing your annual checkups. They will actually connect with your doctor to take a look at your medical records. Okay. They will actually come and do a blood and urine test and ask you some questions. They'll weigh you. They'll measure your height.
In your house.
I'll see. This is what's scaring people.
The needle?
Dun, dun, dun.
It's actually a very quick process. The whole thing is 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
And it's in your home.
Where
and
you
you could be in your
comfortable and cozy.
PJs. And if you really need someone to hold your hand during the needle, I will see if I can be there.
Kumbaya moment.
Kumbaya moment.
There we
we'll
go.
hold hands through this process.
Leah does it all.
Leah does it all. That's a new hashtag. Leah does it all.
I love it. I'm so using it.
I just want 10%, Leah. That's all.
Ooh.
The money I'll be bringing in, no problem.
So Leah, now that we've had this kumbaya moment, and then do you do like a whole layout for people? Like, do you show them like insurance? This is your need here. And when you want to start saving or and put me in a position to save, I can do it like this. So you give them the whole kit and caboodle.
Total package.
Absolutely.
Total package.
It's a holistic point of view. Okay.
I love it. You said it's a holistic point of view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I compare. I like to do comparisons, if you could tell, because
Yeah.
a lot of people are visual, like myself. And so imagine your body. We have organs,
Yes.
and they all have to work harmoniously together. If
Yes.
one organ isn't working right, you're not really healthy. Every aspect of your financial being needs to be healthy. You need to have an emergency fund. We talk about the 3 buckets: a short-term bucket, a mid-term bucket, and a long-term bucket, which are going to be used at different times of your life, and they all need to be funded. And so, you asked me when we were off the air about
Yes.
the $1,000, and it's about making sure you first have your emergency fund. What would
Yes.
happen if something happens to you, you're not at work, and there's no income coming in? How are you going to survive? Most families today in America are not prepared if they have an emergency room visit of $400. They're one paycheck away from being on the street.
Right.
And so
they don't have to be.
They don't have to be, but no one ever taught them how to save. Yes. And I compare it to going to the gym, building that muscle, that saving muscle. It's not going to be overnight. I'm lifting 300 pounds. Right. I'm not going to save $3,000 a month right away. It's going to start with $10, $20. Until you get accustomed to saving, the question is, where are you saving? Right? And so it's a matter of making sure every bucket's being filled. And I'll be honest with you, there's only so much you can budget and only so much you can bring your payments down. But there's no end and there's no limit to how much you can bring in. And so we got to raise people's incomes and we got to show them how to have multiple streams of income.
That's right. And that's why we're here. Oh,
I got to go to Home Depot and get some buckets.
Yes, some big buckets.
For real. Everybody go to Home Depot, Lowe's, your nearest.
Get your buckets, and get ready.
You need 3, by the way.
So you know what? We're going to take a break right here. And we are going to come back and we're going to answer some questions from some of our listeners. Can you do that for me?
I would be honored.
All right. Well, this is Miss Charlene, Lunch with the Finance Bunch. And of course, we're on Dash Talk Radio.
Get your buckets, y'all.
Get your buckets. This is Miss Charlene, and welcome back to Lunch with the Finance Bunch right here on Dash Talk Radio. And we're in the studio with Leah Rosenfeld. And we're talking about money, and we're talking about how to get to that money, right? Yes. So now, Leah, you mentioned earlier about your mentorship program. What's that about?
The mentorship program, you probably would agree with me that to get anywhere in life and really feel like you're on track for success and to feel good and confident, you need someone to believe in you, right?
100%.
Okay, so I don't come from this industry. I was a massage therapist for many years. I was a librarian in my daughter's private school for 8 years. And I never saw myself not only helping people with money, but talking about money. It was always a fear. It was something I was uncomfortable about. All I had was debt. I didn't have any savings and my income didn't look pretty either. I mean, I just keeping up with my bills. Right. And when I met Dina Michael and I met Phyllis Shulman. Well, Phyllis Shulman's always been in my life, but certain women in my life empowered me, believed in me, pulled me up, and really showed me, Leah, you're a leader. And I was like, I don't really know what that means. And they instilled a belief in me. I first had to borrow their belief, but It became mine. It became real when I started seeing myself in that leadership role. And I now pass that on. I take individuals, men and women, and I become their mentor, and I show them that they too can help families become financially independent. First, we start with them, right? And then we help get them licensed to be able to help families financially and build their own business. And so what I'm most proud about is being able to change someone's life financially because they're now a business owner and they're having multiple streams of income.
Oh, definitely. And I know their confidence must go through the roof.
Absolutely.
Yeah, as did mine because of a mentor.
Wow, I love it. We're going to have you back on again. So I'm going to try to get through all of this in the time that we have. But, you know, when we have great guests on, the time just runs out, right? Yeah. So I want to ask you some questions that were texted into me. And one of the questions was, who are 3 key financial players that an entrepreneur or a person should have in their life?
Well, when it comes to having a business, the things that I look for to have around me.
Yes.
First of all, people with a positive attitude.
Definitely.
You need to be around happy people who see the cup half full versus half empty, right? Yes. Enthusiasm, no negative talk, no negative thinking. That's right. Toxic. And, you know, I really believe that people that want more, that are hungry, are going to help you in your life because they're driven.
Yes.
So I like to look at people that are driven. And what's interesting is I find people that have been in the sports industry. I find people that have a sports background or military background. The teamwork. Mm-hmm. To learn how to know it's not about you. It's about being part of something bigger than yourself, larger than you can even imagine, and working together to get to where you all want to go.
That's right.
They say teamwork makes the dream work.
That's what we say too. Absolutely. Yes, Matt. So I'll tell you.
Okay, Leah, we're here.
We're here. Okay, listen. I find someone that has been successful in an area of their life, and I say, you've had success. You know what that feels like, whether it was in sports or military, and you know how to be disciplined, right? Well, what if you had that in another area of your life? What if I could show you? Because most people think, well, I can't really do that. And I say, yes, you can. You've done it here.
Exactly.
That's
you
right.
need to remember what that feels like over
right.
there, and then we're going to plug it in over here.
That's right. I love it. Now, this is another question. I'm 21 with $1,000 at hand. What do you suggest I do with it?
That's a really good question because most people would go on a vacation, go to Vegas and blow it, right?
Or buy a phone.
Let's
Buy
do
a
it,
phone.
millennials. Let's do it.
Your phone works fine.
Yes.
Well, it's really a good question. And I mentioned, having different buckets. Well,
Yes.
so it starts with, what do you really need to survive? What does your monthly budget look like? Because if you are not having a steady stream of income, how long is that $1,000 going to last you? Then you can't spend any of it. So it's not even a question that has a one specific answer. It's really catered to the person and what is their lifestyle like? What do
Yes.
they do for work?
That's
What do their
right.
bills look like? And so I would do the financial needs analysis with them and I would say, let's talk about every penny needs to be held accountable for. And then we can talk about fun money because everyone needs to have fun, right?
Everyone
I like
needs
need to
that.
have
I
fun.
like that term.
Okay?
Fun
Yes.
money.
Fun money.
That's
Yeah.
my kind of money right there.
Yeah, because the first thing Matthew asked me when we were talking about starting his savings was, do I get fun money? I mean, I don't want to just sit somewhere and not be able to do anything. I want to be able to shop. I want to be able to do this and that. So
Yeah,
that's the first thing people
financial
say.
investment, but that's depressing money. I want some fun money.
You're gonna
Right,
have some
exactly.
fun with it. And I'll tell you, I didn't know about that until another mentor of mine, Chris Felton, taught me that. He and his wife, Marlo, wrote a book called Couples Money. And that really was eye-opening for me. And I started implementing some of those concepts into my life because you do need to have some type of account or a little fund that you can use to have a good time. And it's
Yes.
going to be different for men and different for women. A woman might want that mani-pedi, right? The guy might want to go golfing and whatever that is, they should be allowed without having to hide it, without having to feel guilt around it, right? But of course, we have to make sure that we're not living above our means. And I think that's one of the mistakes I made is that when I was having a nice income years ago, I thought that I now can fit my budget into that income.
Right.
Like,
Right.
oh, I make X amount of dollars, so I can afford a $4,000 rent. And I didn't know that that was messed up.
Right.
Okay. I didn't realize, so I had an Escalade ESV, $800 a month payments because I could afford it. Had I known better,
Yes.
Leah, can I move in with you? You are out here living the dream.
well,
Matthew, she's learned.
I've learned. And what's interesting is that my mindset completely shifted.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you don't need to live in the $4,000
No.
apartment, Matthew, when you have $6,000 as a budget
Absolutely.
with the Escalade. Because now you're broke and you're living
See, that even
paycheck to
sounds
paycheck.
sexy. Escalade.
Oh my goodness!
You know what's sexier though?
Money
Being
in the
financially
bank.
free and not stressing out about
100%.
Exactly. So, what are the 3 worst things people can do with their money? That was another question they texted in.
Not value it, not really understand where the next dollar is going to come from, right? I say it's fine to spend it on things that you love, especially when you're enjoying someone's company and you have a memory that you're going to share.
Yes.
Wasting it on things that there's no value in, right? And so it's not just a cut clear thing about, you shouldn't do that with your money, but you definitely should not keep all your money in the bank. People make a big mistake of having their money in the bank and they're not investing it. They don't realize the banks are not really giving you money on your dollar.
That's
they're,
right.
They're
They're
taking your
investing
money.
it.
Anything.
They're
They are so
investing.
They're
stingy.
investing your
They're
money.
investing it. Right. So why don't we cut out the middleman and go to where the banks go
That's
and
right.
invest our money in other vehicles where we can grow and earn interest? And really the mistake is not learning, not taking responsibility.
Yes.
Okay. Especially when you are given some information and you choose to think it's not important.
Yes.
So it's understanding how does money work? What is compound interest? Okay. So that you can now not make the mistake of thinking you can stuff your cash under the mattress or in the freezer and
Shoebox.
Shoebox.
All right. Well, it's good to have your little stash of cash for whatever, but that's not where it's going to get you to that dreamland and your retirement.
Exactly.
I hear you, because putting all this money in the mattress is starting to get uncomfortable.
Lumpy mattress.
Lumpy mattress syndrome. We don't need the lumpy mattress syndrome, Matt. So now I have a couple of personal questions I'm going to ask you before we get out of here, because we are Lunch with the Finance Bunch and we want to get into your personal financial business. We call it our balance sheet.
So I likes to get nosy from here.
I
and
do.
there.
I do. So what is your most memorable paycheck?
Such a good question. At first, what comes to mind is when I got a very large commission
Yes.
at one point. But that's not the most memorable. I'll tell you, it was very exciting to make $20,000 in a month. That's great. But what's memorable is when I helped a client, that I didn't think was going to be my client, because they told me they were shopping around, they were talking to 5 other people, they were comparing different things. And when they chose me to be the person to help them, That felt so empowering. That felt honored. I was humbled. I felt privileged.
Wow.
And when I was able to not only help them,
Yes.
and actually help myself by helping them, that felt really good. And because of the work that I did and believed in myself, and even though it was scary, that was my scariest appointment I went on. And to be able to help that family, that was the most memorable.
Wow. Now,
cool.
I have one more question. No, two more.
3,
What
4,
do-
5.
What does success mean to you, and do you feel you're successful?
Such a good question, because I used to think, I'll be honest, I used to think, and maybe others think this as well, that it has to do with your financial situation.
Right.
And that's how successful
100%.
you
That's
are.
how I used to feel for sure.
But I'll tell you, lately, I can walk away from a moment feeling so incredibly good about how I just made someone feel.
Yes.
And that feels like I won the lottery.
Yes.
Right? When I can make an impact on someone's life, when I can be of value to them and they want me and they ask me for my advice and they want to connect and they know that I can help them because I've been there. And I still do that. I still have a mentor in my life. That to me is success, when you can change someone's life. And I always say, you want to leave someone feeling better than when you started talking to them.
Amen. And so do you feel you're successful?
I do.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah. And who's on the $500 bill?
You know, it's crazy you asked that question today. It's crazy. And I'll tell you why. Okay. William McKinley, I like to call him Billy.
Shout out to you, Billy.
Shouts out to Billy.
His face is on the $500 bill. And in fact, he was our 25th president. And the reason it's weird that you asked that today is because today marks 116 years since he was assassinated today.
Wow.
Yes, September 14th, 1901, he was assassinated.
Amazing.
Did you know that? Is that why you asked me that question?
No, I just ask people random questions that, to see
You're
if
in
they know
our
the
hearts,
answers
Billy.
to.
If
So
you're hearing
Billy,
us right now,
yeah.
you're in our hearts right now.
So, wow. Thank you so much.
Oh my
I
goodness,
feel like this
thank
time went by
you.
so quickly.
I feel like we didn't even get started yet. There's so much I want to share.
Well, that means you'll have to come back.
I definitely will be back.
Round
So can we
2.
follow you on Instagram?
Please follow me on Instagram,
And-
Leah Rosenfeld 7, the number 7.
Definitely. And you said you have a website that people can go to check out some financial information.
Yes.
And they can feel comfortable with you. That's the thing I love the
Absolutely.
most.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank you
Leah,
so
for coming
much.
on. I really appreciate you.
My website, if you like, I can give
Yes,
that out.
please do.
joinwealthwave.com/Leah, Leah.
Okay, Leah, well, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been such a wonderful experience for us. Matthew, did you learn something?
Oh, yeah. I need to know. I learned that I have to go to Home Depot right after we leave here.
get your
my
buckets?
3 buckets.
So you can fill your money up in the
I
right
can
buckets?
believe in fun money.
Woo!
That's a good money right there. Yeah, I learned a whole lot today. I learned I need to go get a physical ASAP so I can go get that life insurance.
See, Leah, you have to
So-
definitely, Leah, you have to come back on our show because he's actually listening.
I am so excited, and I'm going to teach you more about the buckets, the actual what they really mean. You know, bank accounts and IRAs and life insurance policies and mutual funds. We're going to talk about what those buckets really look like.
Okay,
Yay.
cool.
That's for
Okay.
the next show.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Leah, for coming on
My
Talk
honor.
with us. We appreciate it. Lunch
I
with the
appreciate
Finance
it.
Bunch. We'll be right back. This is Miss Charlene with Lunch with the Finance Bunch, and we want to thank our guest, Leah Rosenfeld, for coming on the show. And we have a financial tip for you to go away with today from Leah. And she said, invest in yourself first. Don't rely on your own ability to put money in your account. Have it come out automatically from your paycheck or however you get paid. Have it come directly out. Pay yourself first. You're the valuable one in this equation. Thank you, and we want you to join us again next time on Lunch with the Finance Bunch on Talk Radio. Where are we at? Dash. Thank you.